My name's Liam. I'm 31. And if there's one thing I've learned about family, it's that they'll cheer for you the loudest unless your success makes them uncomfortable. I never went the traditional route. While most of my cousins were off at university studying law or medicine, or whatever would earn them a LinkedIn badge and a parental bragging right, I was holed up in my childhood bedroom, building an e-commerce brand out of thin air. At first, it was just selling custom phone cases, then t-shirts. Then it snowballed. While they were submitting resumes and praying for internships, I was filing taxes for an LLC and managing six figures in inventory. But to my extended family, I was still between jobs. That's how my mom described it. That's how I was introduced at weddings and reunions. This is Liam. He's figuring things out. As if my business wasn't real until someone in a suit said it was. The graduation party that broke the camel's back was for my cousin Mallory. She was 23, freshly graduated from some prestigious university with a degree in international relations, and the golden girl of the family. You know the type: class president, speaks 3 languages, volunteers at shelters, somehow manages to look like a Disney princess in every photo. I never had a problem with her growing up. To be honest, we were civil, not close, but not hostile either. But Mallory always had this air about her, like she expected the world to applaud after every sentence. Her parents, my aunt and uncle, fueled it. Every little achievement came with a party, a framed certificate, a group text, and a Facebook album with a name like Mallory's Big Moment. When I got the invitation to her graduation party, I already knew what to expect: a catered backyard event at their place in the suburbs, probably with string lights, champagne, and an overpriced tent rental. What I didn't expect was the role I'd be given when I arrived. I pulled up a little early to avoid the usual chaos, only to be immediately intercepted by Aunt Cara, Mallory's mom, waving a fluorescent vest like I just clocked in for a shift. "Oh, perfect. Liam, we were hoping you could help with the parking situation. We've got cars backing up down the street." "No, hello. No, thanks for coming. Just a vest, a walkie-talkie, and a pat on the back, like I was some college freshman working valet on the weekends." I blinked at her. "I'm not working the party, Cara. I came to celebrate." She laughed like I'd made a joke. "Just help us out for an hour or so. You're good with logistics, right? Your little online thing." I should have walked away then. I should have handed her the vest and said no. But something in me, probably that cursed family loyalty, made me take it. I spent the first 90 minutes of that party waving SUVs into grass patches and helping elderly relatives shuffle their walkers over uneven ground. No one relieved me. No one brought me a drink. When I finally sat down at one of the fold-out tables near the back, sweaty and dust-covered, the actual celebration was already in full swing. There was a massive banner stretched across the yard: "Congrats, Mallory," in glittery gold. A red bow was tied around the driveway gate, which had apparently been hiding a brand new Kia Soul. Guests were crowded around the cake table, sipping drinks and eating. I got a half-hearted wave from my mom, who was seated front and center like she'd raised Mallory herself. I spotted my name scrawled on a paper place card, shoved behind a decorative fern near the buffet line far from the main tables. Mallory was glowing. She wore a white dress that caught the light with every movement, and she floated from table to table like she was running for office. At one point, a microphone was passed to her, and she tapped it dramatically before giving a little giggle. "I just want to thank everyone for coming," she began, holding her champagne flute high. "It means so much to be surrounded by people who value hard work and real education, especially in a time where it's so easy to get distracted by online hobbies." She smiled directly at me. The pause was intentional. The delivery razor sharp. And the reaction? Laughter. Actual laughter. My uncle snorted. My cousin Jason spit out a sip of his drink. Even my mom gave a tight, embarrassed smile, like she'd been caught trying not to laugh but couldn't help herself. I felt the heat rise up my neck. I stared at the condensation dripping down my untouched drink, willing myself not to react. "Not yet," Mallory continued, oblivious or maybe just bold. "Some of us spent 4 years earning a degree that actually means something." "Sorry, not sorry." More laughter. She clinked glasses with a few nearby guests and handed the mic back, like a drop-the-mic moment from a teen drama. My mom looked over at me finally, gave a little shrug, and mouthed she didn't mean it. "The thing is, I didn't care about the car. I didn't care about the banner or the speech or the fact that every single photo being snapped had me cropped out in the background, standing near the hedge like a forgotten waiter. What stung was the years of quiet dismissals, the smirks when I tried to explain my work, the way my own mother would breeze past my updates to talk about which of Mallory's professors used to work in the State Department. But in that moment, sitting there with dust on my sneakers and a drink in my hand, something inside me shifted. I waited until the last toast had been made, until the clapping died down and people began migrating toward the dance floor where a Bluetooth speaker played top 40 hits. I stood, brushed off my pants, and made my way up to the main table where Mallory and her friends were posing for photos beside the car, still high off applause. "Hey, Mallory," I said, casually loud enough for the nearby crowd to hear. She turned mid-laugh, clearly not expecting me to speak. "Yeah?" she asked, eyes narrowed. I lifted my glass and smiled. "Just wanted to say, congrats. Really must feel great knowing your degree got you here, and it's awesome that your family supports you so much." I took a long sip. My little online hobby just cleared $1.2 million this year. But hey, nice Kia. Silence. Mallory's smile froze. Someone behind her dropped a fork. My uncle's mouth fell open. My mom blinked twice, like she couldn't process the words. I didn't wait for their reactions to settle. I just nodded, turned on my heel, and walked off toward the gate. The last thing I heard was someone whisper, "Wait, what did he say?" And I had no intention of sticking around for what came next. As I walked down the gravel driveway toward my car, I could feel all the stairs drilling into my back like heat lamps. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I'd played my part. I'd said what I needed to say, and I knew that little mic drop moment would ripple through the party like a pebble in still water. The thing is, I hadn't planned to say anything. I really hadn't. But years of being the family's quiet afterthought, the one who got the short end of the conversation and the long list of favors had finally stacked up. And Mallory's smug little jab, that was the final straw. When I slid into my car and pulled out, no one came chasing after me. Not yet. But by the time I got home, parked in front of my place, a sleek 3-bedroom house I bought outright last year, my phone had already begun buzzing. First came the texts. One from my mom, that was uncalled for, "Liam. You embarrassed the whole family." Followed immediately by another, "We'll talk later. Please don't make a big deal out of this." Then from Aunt Cara, "Was that really necessary? Mallory worked hard for her degree. You're not the only one with accomplishments." I didn't reply. I powered down my phone, tossed it on the kitchen counter, and let the silence of my house wash over me. That night, I slept better than I had in months. The fallout came in waves over the next few days. Monday morning, I opened my business email to find 3 new interview requests. Apparently, one of Mallory's guests had looked up my company after the party and was beyond impressed with what we'd built. Built, not fell into, not your little online thing. That word meant something to me. A month ago, I might have passed the requests off to my assistant, but now I took the calls myself. For once, I wanted people to hear my story. Tuesday evening, my mom showed up at my door. She didn't text first, just rang the bell. Holding a Tupperware container like this was still 2006, and I was a college kid who needed lasagna and life advice. I opened the door slowly. "Hey," she said, a bit too softly. "I brought dinner." I stepped aside, motioning her in. She hovered in the entryway, scanning the living room like she was seeing it for the first time. The minimalist furniture, the local art pieces, the smart lighting, all of it screaming success in a language she'd never really bothered to learn. "You've done well for yourself," she said finally. "Yeah," I said. "I have." She set the Tupperware on the counter and sighed. "You embarrassed Mallory and the whole family. She's devastated." I folded my arms, leaning against the kitchen island. "Mom." She mocked me publicly. "I didn't start anything. I finished it." "But $1.2 million? She said it like it was a sin. Like saying it aloud might summon some IRS demon. "It's the truth." She paused, jaw tight. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" I laughed, not unkindly. "I did. You just never wanted to hear it. You like the version of me that needed help. That fit into your little narrative, Liam the dropout, the one still figuring things out. You could pity me, but I stopped needing that a long time ago." She sat down heavily, like my words knocked the wind out of her. I wasn't trying to pity you, she said quietly. No? I asked. Then why was it always, Mallory so driven, and I was just the kid who makes stickers in his room? She didn't have an answer for that. Instead, she said, Mallory's looking for a job, you know. Nothing's come through yet. I smiled tightly. So, the real degree didn't open every door after all? That earned me a scowl. Don't be cruel. I'm not. I'm just tired of pretending I haven't earned my place in this family. She stood up, brushing invisible crumbs off her blouse. She wants to apologize, she mumbled. Does she? I raised an eyebrow. She said she went too far. I didn't reply, because I didn't believe it. Not yet. Later that night, I checked my phone for the first time since Saturday. A text from Mallory sat there, unread. Hey, about the party. I shouldn't have said what I said. That was messed up. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long time. Not because I was unsure of what to do, but because the power dynamic had shifted. And suddenly, everyone knew it. For years, they thought I was the guy scraping by with Wi-Fi and a dream. No, I was the guy who built an empire while they weren't looking. But the real moment things truly spiraled came the following weekend. Aunt Cara called me directly. No warning, just a voicemail. Liam, I need to talk to you about something important. We've run into a bit of a financial situation. I didn't want to bring this up, but your uncle's hours got cut, and the lease on Mallory's new car isn't exactly manageable. I know things got tense, but we're still family, right? That's when it clicked. They weren't just embarrassed. They wanted something. I played the voicemail twice. Not because I needed to hear what she said again, but because I couldn't believe how quickly the tone had changed. Just days earlier, I'd been the family joke in a vest, waving cars into grass patches. Now I was the emergency exit. I didn't call Aunt Cara back right away. I didn't even respond. I let it sit. Let her wonder if I'd heard it. Let the discomfort grow. I knew this pattern. It was familiar. First the mockery, then the silence, then the sudden warmth and "we're still family" line as soon as they needed a favor. And make no mistake, this was a favor, an expensive one. I sat down at my kitchen table, opened my laptop, and pulled up Mallory's Instagram. She'd posted a carousel of pictures from the party, the banner, the speeches, the keys to her new car, captioned with "to new beginnings and real work that makes a difference." Right. Real work. That phrase again. I scrolled through the comments. Dozens of likes from extended family members, friends, old classmates. A few of them tagged her, saying how inspiring she was. One of them even commented, "Can't wait to work with you at the embassy." That made me smirk. I knew for a fact Mallory hadn't landed a single job offer yet. Not because she told me, but because my mom had accidentally let it slip while she was half defending her in my kitchen. The girl who toasted to real degrees and mocked online hobbies was now 3 months into post-grad unemployment and clearly sweating it. Still, I wasn't planning on doing anything. I wasn't out for blood. Not yet. But then came the second call. This one was from my uncle. "Liam, hey, just wanted to clear the air, but you know we love you. Always have. That whole party thing just some playful teasing. Mallory's got a sharp sense of humor, huh? Takes after her dad." He chuckled awkwardly. "Anyway, look, about that lease. Cara mentioned she left you a message. We're just a little tight this month. Would really mean a lot if you could float us the first couple payments, just to keep things smooth while Mallory settles in. I mean, you did say your business was doing well, right?" I sat there in stunned silence, holding my phone like it was a live grenade. The audacity was almost artistic. Not a single mention of the years I'd spent quietly footing bills for birthday gifts, holiday dinners, or family emergencies while they offered me folding chairs and backhanded compliments. Not a single acknowledgement that what Mallory said was cruel. Not teasing. Not playful. Not just a joke. No apology. Just more entitlement. Just more of the same. That's when I opened the spreadsheet. The one I'd kept for years. Not obsessively, just methodically. Every dollar I'd ever lent or spent on this family. From the $300 I gave Jason for textbooks he never paid back, To the $2,000 I floated Kara and her husband when their roof started leaking 2 winters ago. Every favor I'd been guilted into. Every bill I paid quietly just to keep the peace. The grand total, $42,860. $42,860. Not counting interest, not counting emotional labor, not counting the way they made me feel like a glorified piggy bank with no real accomplishments. I stared at the number for a long time. Then I took a deep breath and started drafting a message to Mallory. Hey, got your text. Been thinking about it. Appreciate the apology, but I've been thinking maybe it's time for some clarity for everyone's sake. You're right, by the way. You did work hard. I just don't think that justifies mocking other people's success, especially when you don't fully understand it. But more than that, I'm realizing that I've spent years investing in this family financially and emotionally, and all I've really gotten in return is dismissiveness. I'm not angry, but I'm done playing the role of the invisible ATM. I wish you luck on the job hunt. Really. But I won't be covering the car or anything else going forward. I read it twice. No venom, no gloating, just a line in the sand. Then I sent a version of that message to my uncle, my aunt, and more delicately to my mom. She called instantly. Liam, wait. Can we talk about this? You can't just dash. Yes, I interrupted, calm and clear. I can. And I just did. There was a pause on the other end of the line. My family always praised my cousin Mallory, the golden child with a fancy degree and a new car, while calling my e-commerce business Liam's little online thing. At her graduation party, I was handed a fluorescent vest and asked to park cars, not even greeted properly. After 90 minutes of playing valet, I finally sat down, only to hear Mallory toast real education and throw a dig at online hobbies while staring right at me. The family laughed. Even my mom shrugged it off. I kept quiet until the end. Then I walked up, raised my glass, and said, "Congrats, Mallory. Must feel great to have your family's support. My little online hobby just cleared $1.2 million this year. But hey, nice Kia." The whole yard went silent. I left without another word. Suddenly, my phone blew up angry texts from my mom and aunt about embarrassing the family. But the next week, I got business interview requests from guests who looked me up. My mom tried to guilt me, but I told her I was done being the family's invisible ATM. Then my aunt called asking for help with Mallory's car payments. I realized they only cared when they needed something. I sent a group message, "I'm proud of what I built, but I won't bankroll the family anymore." For once, I set my own boundaries and it felt damn good. My cousin Mallory was always the golden child, top of her class, 3 languages, and her parents threw a party for every achievement. Meanwhile, my e-commerce business was dismissed as Liam's little online thing. At her graduation party, I was handed a fluorescent vest and asked to park cars, not even greeted properly. After 90 minutes of valet duty, I finally sat down, only to hear Mallory toast real education and mock online hobbies, looking right at me. The whole family laughed, even my mom. I kept quiet, but after the last toast, I walked up to Mallory in front of everyone. "Congrats. Must feel great having your family's support. My little online hobby just cleared $1.2 million this year. But hey, nice Kia." Silence. I left without another word. Suddenly, my phone blew up angry texts from my mom and aunt about embarrassing the family. But the next week, I got business interview requests from guests who looked up my company. My mom tried to guilt me, but I told her I was done being the family's invisible ATM. Then my aunt called, asking for help with Mallory's car payments. That's when I realized they only cared when they needed something. I sent a group message, "I'm proud of what I built, but I won't bankroll the family anymore." For once, I set my own boundaries and it felt damn good. Let me know if you want a different tone or more detail.